Oh, there we go. Is that 30 seconds? Call this council meeting to order at 6 p.m. Before I begin, I just want to acknowledge the passing of Councillor Wayne Wall. Wayne had a very diverse working career that included working for the City of Portage from 1994 until 2012, when he retired from his position as manager of the Water Pollution Control Facility. Wayne was first elected to City Council in 2014, and he was re-elected in 2018. He served as chair of the Wastewater Committee, as well as many other committees and boards. Wayne was the past chairman and honorary life member of the Manitoba Water and Wastewater Association. He was the past president and honorary life member of the Western Canada Water Association. And he was past chairman of the Manitoba Advisory Committee for Water and Wastewater Operators. He received several awards for his significant contributions to the water and wastewater industry and was integral to this becoming a recognized trade in Manitoba. Wayne loved serving the people of Portage, and he did so with dedication and commitment. Wayne was more than just a colleague, he was also a friend. And he will be missed by those of us who worked alongside him here at the City of Portage la Prairie. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Pat and his family. We will observe 1 minute of silence in Wayne's memory. Thank you. I need a motion for the adoption of minutes, please.
Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held at City Hall on January 24th, 2022 be adopted as circulated.
Moved by Councillor Knox and seconded by Councillor Buds. All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. We have no delegations this evening and we have no public hearings, so we're going to move right into committee. First up is Finance, Legislative and Property Committee. Councillor Buds, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Nothing to report in my regular slot here, but some new business to report later on in the meeting.
Okay, thank you. City Planning and Economic Development Committee. Councillor Meyer, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The City Planning and Economic Development Committee has nothing on the agenda tonight.
Thank you. And Community Service Committee. Councillor Draycott, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Nothing for the Community Services Committee at this moment in the meeting.
Thank you. And Waterworks Committee. Councillor Draycott, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Waterworks Committee has nothing to report at this time.
And Transportation Committee. Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Transportation Committee has nothing to report at this point.
Thank you. And Public Safety Committee. Councillor Knox.
Thank you, Worship. Nothing in this part of the meeting, but a couple of items in new business.
Thank you. We have no deferred business this evening. We have a number of items of new business. First item of new business is the fourth quarter reports for 2021. This is for information. And this is fourth quarter report from Community Service Committee. Councillor Draycott, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. This evening we do have the Youth Member of Council's fourth quarter report from October to December 2021. I would call on Councillor Ramchandran to give her report at this time. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. Let me just pull it up here really quick. Okay, so basically, these past few months, I've just done a lot of talking between my school counselor and like the stuff that we were thinking of doing this year. And I talked to her, and we are thinking of bringing in one of the past youth counselors, Arisha Agarwal, to come and speak to our school. And I already reached out to her, and she said it would be fine if it's sometime during either this month or next month. So we're gonna like plan a little meet the counselor thing, or we were thinking about something like that. And then we would bring her in to speak about some things she did when she was youth counselor, and then some things that she thinks we could do as well. So there's that. And then we were thinking of maybe doing like one other event that can kind of just like bring everyone's spirits up, because like COVID-19 is bringing us all down, but like restrictions are lifting. So maybe we can be a little more like creative with it.
Excellent. Thanks for your report. We look forward to hearing more about your potential future events. And that's all I have for community services, new business, your worship.
Thank you, Councillor Draycott. Next on new business is fourth quarter reports for 2021, and this is Public Safety Committee. Councillor Knox, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm excited tonight because we have a new introduction for us. I'm happy to welcome Inspector Paul Peddle to our meeting, who is our new RCMP inspector in Portage la Prairie, and he's here to give his fourth quarter report. He comes to us all the way from one of my favorite places in Canada, of Newfoundland. So if Paul, you would like to turn on your mic and your camera and introduce yourself to our council and public.
Okay, good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to say thanks for giving me the opportunity to come here tonight. I have had the chance to sit down and meet with Sherilyn and Mayor Ferris as well. I sat on a committee with Nathan as well, but it's great to see your faces. Like Sherilyn mentioned, I came from Newfoundland. I arrived here in Portage with my family back in December. So we've been here now a couple of months, and I can't say enough positive things about the community. The way everybody's welcomed us here, it's been truly tremendous. I have my wife is Jillian. She's a teacher here in Portage. She teaches at La Vérandre School. And I have a daughter, Avery, who's in grade 6 at Ecole Arthur Mean. So we live here in Portage, and so far I can't say enough about how great everybody's been to us. So just a little bit about myself. I have 20 years service with the RCMP. This is my 8th different posting. I've done 7 postings in Newfoundland. I've been a commander at 3 different previous postings, and prior to coming to Portage, I was with the Criminal Operations Branch with the division headquarters in Newfoundland and Labrador. So so far, I've had the chance to meet all our members. I've gotten out to meet some of the different councils in the area, and I can say one thing: we're very busy here. There's always something on the go. There's never a shortage of work, that's for sure. And I'm very pleased with how hard our members work, given some of the challenges that we've had over the past year with COVID and some of our resourcing shortages. I know it was already mentioned there, but I just also want to pass on our condolences as well on the loss of your fellow councillor, Wayne Wall. I did send a message to Mayor Ferris earlier the week, but I just want to let you know that everybody at the RCMP is certainly thinking about everybody on council. So our condolences to everybody. So I know the quarterly report was sent over, I believe, last week by Lorna. So did everybody have a chance to look at that report? Okay, so some of the key things I'll point out in that, we do with our human resources, we've had some changes in the last couple of months since the last report was done. So we have Constable Andrew Jersina has been brought in to Portage Detachment. I came in December, so Rob Vachon was acting for the last few months prior to my arrival. So I'm sure everybody knows Rob, and he's done a great job, and he's been very important in my transition into the community as well. So we got a new municipal employee, Kat Swain, who started with us as well. So she's currently in training assigned to one of our employees at the detachment. Constable Henry is out of, he's moved out of the Amaranth area. We have Corporal Mackenzie's out of the Amaranth area as well. And we have Corporal Ian Henry has gone into the Amaranth as the supervisor in charge there. And Corporal Andrew Cowan has left Treehorn. And we currently have that position advertised for promotion, which was advertised last week. And also we did have 2 members arrive this week to Portage. We had Constable Jaden Gill and Constable Alexander Cutler both arrived this week. And we have another member that's due to arrive in March, Constable Ryan Carrier. So we do have a few shortages at our office, as I mentioned. We do have a few members that are off on maternity and paternity leave, and we do have some ODS people off due to sickness. But I have to say that we are managing to respond to all the calls, and the members are working extremely hard from what I've seen in my short time here. They also broke down the budget on the report there. So we're currently at $206,000 in overtime for the year to date. And for the quarter, we're at about just over $74,000. So some of the key things I want to point out there is some of the initiatives that we focus on throughout the year are the key things that we try to elaborate on, I guess, based on the input that we have from the various councils in our area. So one of the first initiative there is community safety. So we've done 65 crime reduction checks in the previous quarter, with 2 charges being laid for breaching conditions. We completed 10 judicial authorization. So we completed 10 search warrants in the last quarter, and we completed 32 intelligence reports. We also had 127 contacts with our community stakeholders. So we listed out, we have many community groups that we interact with, and those groups are all listed in the report there. We had 124 community school contacts and presentations in the previous quarter. And we completed 22 media releases. As I mentioned, COVID-19 has posed a lot of concerns when it comes to meeting face-to-face, but we're, like you said, we're still out there active in the community by other means. For the foot patrols, I noticed in our APP, I reviewed the APP when I arrived to the community, and I noticed that foot patrols were one of the key initiatives that were listed there. From my understanding, there's been some mischief and break and enters in the city core. So that's one of the things that we've been trying to focus on. With the weather and those sorts of things, it certainly prohibits that at times, but we did do 10 foot patrols in the previous quarter. For the traffic enforcement, we completed or issued 406 traffic tickets in the last quarter. We completed 6 of those were cell phone offenses. We had 15 impaired drivers in the previous quarter, and we completed 10 check stops. We did also completed 2 inland water patrols with our water vessel. So for our internal communications, we had 20 different occasions in the last quarter where we met with our different leadership groups within our detachment. So our team leaders, our supervisors, and our management team. And we also had 30 communication opportunities with our stakeholders, elected officials, and other partners. And for our calls for service, for the municipal for the last quarter, we had 2,143 calls for service for the RCMP. And for the rural, we had 1,225. So so far this year, in the 9 months period that this report takes into account, we've had over 11,000 calls for service. So you can appreciate just how busy we are and just how many calls we receive here in the Portage area. So as I mentioned, finally, before I wrap up there is a breakdown as well on the report that will tell you the breakdown of calls for the persons crime, property crime, and it gives you the comparisons of the previous quarter as well as the comparisons of this time last year. So as I mentioned, since my arrival, I've had the chance to meet with many different councils. I've had the chance to meet with some of our Indigenous communities. I've met with our Manitoba First Nations Policing Service. I've also sat on with our 3CR committee with Sherilyn and Nathan. And from what I see there, we have some great plans for the future to, I guess, help the city of Portage la Prairie and help our partnerships for the people that we serve. So I know this is just an introductory meeting, and I know everybody here is extremely busy, but I just very thankful for the opportunity to let me come on tonight, just to meet everybody, to put a face to everybody's name. And I just want to say I'm really looking forward to working with your community and working with each and every one of you. But if you have any questions at all, you can certainly feel free to ask me, and I'll do my best to answer them for you.
Thank you, Inspector Peddle. I'm glad you're here. I don't have anything else. That ends my report, Your Worship, unless anyone else has any questions.
Seeing none? Okay. Thank you, Inspector Peddle, and welcome to Portage. Next, I have new business.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. The next item of new business is the 2022 budget speech. This is Finance Committee. Councilor Buck, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. And this is an item that is highly anticipated every year in terms of giving some knowledge to our community as to the financial position of the city going into this year and beyond. And so it begins, our financial plan begins tonight with our budget speech. So Your Worship and fellow members of council, it is my pleasure as Chair of Finance, Legislative and Property Committee and Deputy Mayor to present to you our 2022 City of Portage la Prairie budget for approval. So in 2022, our infrastructure project, Saskatchewan Avenue West, moves ahead. 2022 will be another year of large infrastructure investments in our city. The $37 million Saskatchewan Avenue West project began in 2021 with a renewal of utility infrastructure between 4th Street West and 8th Street West in our city, and will continue on this winter with the installation of drainage systems. By spring, construction season in Portage la Prairie will begin in earnest with the completion of the utility infrastructure beyond 8th Street West to Elm Street, and in concert will be staged with work for the new Saskatchewan Avenue with sidewalks, parking spaces, medians, boulevards, bike paths, and new greening for our city. While the utility infrastructure will be completed in 2022, the general work for the avenue will be completed in stages over the next 3 years from 4th Street West and west to Elm Street. The end result will be an impressive west entrance to our city, better traffic controls on this busy avenue, parking for businesses and avenue residents, and ways to bike or walk in the area without navigating gravel shoulders. Your council is pleased to announce that we've been planning for this work for many years, and with the full payment of Stride Place debt coming in the next few years, this is an opportunity to redeploy these payments dollars into a new project. Funding for Saskatchewan Avenue West project is supplied by the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, which will see the federal government contribute $12.5 million, the provincial government contribute $8.3 million, and the city contributing the balance. The opportunity to redeploy the Stride Place debt payment dollars into this new project will mean that our city taxpayers will see no increase in property taxes for this project. So I think that's fantastic news. As said, we've been planning for that for many years, and we can handle this new debt taken on to improve our city. In total, the city plans to expand $58 million on capital projects and purchases in 2022. And while Saskatchewan Avenue West is a large portion of the amount, we're also having the water pollution control plant upgrade in progress and working in conjunction with our large industries towards awarding the contract of this upgrade under the P3 model by the end of 2022. The city is currently working with the Infrastructure Bank of Canada, a federal government entity, to develop the best tender for this contract. Directly related to this project, we're expanding to complete the new operations facility and building at the operations yard in our city, which if you drive by there is already construction underway. And that'll be completed by late summer, which will house the facilities maintenance and utility distribution departments for the city. The parts department will also relocate to the operations yards building, although the Island Park yard will be maintained as much of the department's summer work is centered in this area. Other capital projects. So just beyond the utility projects noted, we'll be replacing the McKay Reservoir roof during 2022 at a total cost exceeding $1 million. This reservoir is the holding facility for much of our city's utility customers' water supply prepared at the water treatment plant as an intermediary facility between the plant and city homes and businesses. The city will also be providing over $2 million in funding to the RM of Portage la Prairie for their Poplar Bluff Reservoir project, which benefits the city through our sale of water to the industrial park tenants. Simplot and Roquette being the largest water purchasers, the rural municipality customers west of the city, and the Yellowhead Water Co-op, which serves rural municipalities and towns such as Gladstone, McGregor, and Austin. The city takes a regional approach to using the water products of our water treatment plant and water pollution control plant to assist those in the water communities with their utility needs. 2022 will be the final year of the city's downtown sidewalk renewal project, which we began in 2020. And we're happy to report that sidewalks between 2nd Street West to 4th Street West will be replaced along with new planters, benches, and trees at a total cost of around $650,000. So some other projects of note, we will continue to improve on the accessibility of City Hall, which is of course a heritage building in the city's downtown core and is in much need of some accessibility assistance for the public. We're going to continue with our added climate risk mitigation strategies for operations with installation of 2 more statutory generators. This was our largest risk during the 2019 ice storm to continue to pump out our sewer system to the pollution control plant. So that's really good news. And an investigation of new and enhanced city services, including solid waste, recycling, transit, to name a few. And of course, balancing the use of taxpayers' funds to benefit is critical to our investigations. Every year at this time, many of our partners look for our granting and community partnerships and grants. The city works with a variety of partners in delivering services to residents and businesses. A complete listing of funding to be provided to community and partnership organizations, city communities will be posted on the city's website in the following days. But in total, $2.2 million is being expended in this area, and we will be contacting each organization who applied for this funding. So what does this mean for property taxes in 2022? So we've achieved a 2% increase in operating expenses for the city within this budget. And that is a figure that management worked within, and very proud to say that they worked very hard on keeping that in line. In addition to the capital projects already identified at no regular increase to property taxes. So they've done all of this with no increase in property taxes. Considering the next general property assessment won't be implemented until 2023, administration is again commended in finding cost efficiencies within the operating budget to result in this outcome. But unfortunately, what we haven't been able to cover is the increase required for RCMP member unionization. In late 2021, the city was advised that the National RCMP Union had reached an agreement regarding a retroactive pay agreement to 2017 at a rate far more than what had been expected of 2.5% per year. It's a 23.7 pay increase over the 6-year period retroactive back to 2017. Our city has a federal policing agreement with the RCMP based on our population size category between 5,000 and 15,000 residents to pay 70% of RCMP member costs, and for our city up to 27 members. The impact will be an increase to policing services operating expenses for the city of $500,000 and for the retroactive amount of up to $972,000. What that means essentially, again, is a $500,000 annual increase in operating costs. Your council has decided to fund the retroactive payment from city savings accounts, basically our reserves, to reduce the impact on the total cost of this change to taxpayers. But what we can't absorb is the $500,000. It is, as mentioned, an ongoing operating expense that will be recovered through a general property tax increase. And so what does this mean in actual percentages increases? This does represent a 4% increase to each of our 5,200 taxpayers' property taxes for residential property assessed at $250,000. What that means is really an increase of around $89 in 2022. In the coming year, though, we will be completing extensive analysis to determine if there are other cost efficiencies to reduce this amount in the future. And currently, our contractual obligations to the RCMP do not allow for any immediate cost efficiencies to be taken. The city has written to the federal public safety minister to express our disagreement with this cost burden placed on our municipality, its taxpayers, and continues to support the Association of Manitoba Municipalities' efforts to lobby for a reduction in these costs, particularly as it applies to the retroactive amounts. There are 21 municipalities in Manitoba directly impacted by the RCMP unionization and many across Canada. Municipalities with populations over 5,000 have their RCMP costs primarily paid for by the provincial government. So again, populations under 5,000, much of that cost is being covered by the provincial government. Living in our city. Finally, our city will continue to provide a healthy and sustainable community for its residents and businesses through our city parks, development initiatives, and partnerships. Nationally, 2022 has been declared as the Year of the Garden. We encourage our city residents to beautify their own property's green space and enjoy our public green spaces throughout the coming months. So here's our budget summary. For the general fund, the net operating budget is $13 million and the capital budget is $32 million. For the utility fund, the net operating budget is $19 million and the capital is $26 million. There is no increase in 2022 property taxes for regular operating expenses. But having said that, the 2022 budget does include $500,000 for increased RCMP contract costs due to the unionization. And this item will result in an increase in property taxes of 4%. And again, as mentioned, a property assessed at approximately $250,000 will see approximately a $90 increase in taxes annually. The next steps in our 2022 budget process will be to await receipt of the Portage la Prairie School Division's budget. This is used to finalize our financial plan and determine the total mill rate. But today we are unsure if the Manitoba government will continue with their education tax reductions to taxpayers as they commenced in 2021. We are expecting to complete our 2022 financial plan by April, and after a public hearing to approve this document, submission to the provincial government will occur. Your tax bill will be mailed to you by early June, and as usual, we will provide you various tools to calculate your 2022 taxes in advance on the city's website. The 2022 budget speech will also be posted on the city's website in the next few days. And that does conclude my 2022 budget speech. I would actually ask the mayor to, ask to move to accept the budget speech as presented.
Okay, moved by Councillor Budd and seconded by Councillor Husty. Any questions or comments on the motion? Well, seeing none, I'll just had a couple of comments. First of all, I think Councillor Budge mentioned it during the speech, the hard work that was done by our department heads, staff on this document and on the budget. Much appreciated. And we will continue to work with the Association of Manitoba Municipalities and to recoup some of those costs regarding the RCMP. Again, it can't be said often enough that we certainly don't agree with the way it was done. So thank you, everybody involved in this, and thank you, Council, for all your work on this budget. Seeing no further, Councillor Knox?
Yes, sorry, Your Worship. I was just collecting my thoughts for a minute there on that budget speech. Again, I do agree. Thanks for all the hard work of administration and the Finance Committee for putting this together. Again, the same thing, that it is a little disappointing that we do have this 4% increase that we have to find a way to cover, and that it is going to come from our citizens. And as public safety, definitely going to commit to continuing to lobby to have those costs recovered through the federal government, with the fact that we were not at the table to do this negotiating, just the cost came on to us. And also the commitment of really analyzing our public safety and our RCMP costs over the next short time to hopefully find some cost efficiencies and continue to provide safety to the city of Portage and its citizens. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Knox. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you. The next item of new business is the first reading of the amendment to the traffic bylaw. This is 20-8705. This is Transportation Committee. Councillor Espy, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. As you stated, the issue is to approve traffic bylaw 22-8733, thereby amending traffic bylaw 20-8705. The background is no parking areas, loading and unloading zones are listed in traffic bylaw 20-8705. The following changes have been requested and are recommended by administration. Addition to loading and unloading zones of vehicles. West side of Royal Road North at 59 Royal Road North. This was requested by Portage Home Care and Treatment and Portage Physio to provide a spot for Portage Handy Van to drop off and pick up patients. Addition to no parking areas. South side of Dufferin Avenue East, east of 9th Street Southeast. There is a new road that was designed for parking on one side of the street only. Both sides of Royal Road South from Crescent Road to a point 30 meters to the north, added to provide clear access in and out of Crescent Road, Royal Road Roundabout. Change to no parking areas. North side of Crescent Road east from Royal Road to a point 120 meters to the east, increased to provide clear access in and out of the Crescent Road, Royal Road Roundabout. Delete from no parking areas, north side of Crescent Road, 30 meters east of Royal Road. This is included in point above. It is the administrative recommendation that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie approve traffic bylaw 22-8733 by giving it first reading, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Meyer. Any questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you. Next item of new business is the new emergency quick reference guide. This is for information. This is Public Safety Committee. Councillor Knox, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have some information tonight on our new emergency quick reference guide, which I think is really going to be a benefit to the citizens of our community. So a new emergency quick reference guide has been created to provide effective community education so that the public knows what to do in the event of an emergency. The guide provides important phone numbers and contact information, as well as links to relevant websites and apps. It outlines what to do in severe weather situations like extreme heat or wind chill, thunder, lightning, hailstorms, tornadoes, heavy rainfall, flash flooding, as well as situations such as hazardous material spills, evacuation, sheltering in place, etc. The guide is free to the City of Portage la Prairie residents and will be delivered to all homes in the next 2 weeks. We encourage everyone to review theirs when it is received and keep it handy in case of emergencies. Copies will also be available for pickup at City Hall and the Fire Hall. The city's full emergency plan can be found on our website. So this is what the new emergency guide looks like. So if you want to look, make sure everybody follow, and it'll be in your mailbox next week, but it's full of some great information. Have a look at it. We'd love to hear feedback if you have it, because we're always here to improve things as we go. And we do know that our city's had some emergencies in the last few years, so this information is valuable for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Knox. The last item of new business this evening is the award tender for supply of grader. This is Transportation Committee. Councillor Espy, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. As you stated, the issue is the award of supply of a grader 22 OPS 004. This tender was advertised on the city website as well as Merck's. 4 companies were contacted and received 4 bids from 3 companies. The tender closed February 8th, 2022. This grader will be used on a regular basis for gravel road or lane work as well as snow clearing. The budgeted amount from approved capital for this purchase is $320,000, including tax. Brandt Tractor submitted tender met all specifications requested in the tender package. The tender price, including the trade-in of the 2012 G940B grader net of GST, is $306,635.20. This is approximately $13,000 under budget. It is the administrative recommendation that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie award the tender for the supply of a grader as specified in tender 22 OPS 004 to Brandt Tractor Limited for the tendered price of $401,635.20 net of GST, and accept the trade-in price of $95,000 for a cost of $306,635.20 net of GST. And I so move.
Moved by Councillor Espy and seconded by Councillor Meyer. Any questions, comments on the motion? Councillor Buds?
Yeah, just quickly. So we received a tender from the same company for different amounts. Just a point of clarity, I guess, just to that first two items, it appears. So they responded 2 times to our tender. Is that correct?
That would be correct, and through your worship, I would defer that for an explanation to Mr. Pito.
Yeah, I will ask our Director of Operations to speak to that, but I believe there was 2 different models, but I will allow.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes, that is correct. They had submitted 2 different models. One had a few more options than the other, so it was a little bit more expensive. So yes, they did submit 2 separate tenders for 2 different machines.
Thank you.
Any further questions on the motion? All those in favor of the motion? And that's carried. Thank you. We have no old business this evening, so council is adjourned at 6:37 p.m. and we're going to move right into committee. We'll call committee to order at 6:37 p.m. First up is Finance Legislative Property Committee. Councillor Buds, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Your committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. City Planning and Economic Development. Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Your Worship. City Planning and Economic Development Committee has nothing to report tonight.
And Community Services Committee. Draycott, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. This evening, we do just have a report to council coming to the next council meeting. This is just our annual appointment of Municipal Noxious Weeds Inspector and Sub-Inspector. It's a requirement of the city by March 1st of every year to appoint a Municipal Noxious Weed Inspector and or Sub-Inspectors and notify the Crop Industry Development of Manitoba Agriculture of the appointments. So the appointees just carry out the provisions of the Noxious Weed Act. We will be having Brian Taylor, our Superintendent of Public Works, be appointed this year to be voted on, of course, in the next council meeting, with Kyle Troop, Lionel Brown, and Adam Carpenter appointed to sub-inspectors. So that is coming to next council meeting for a vote. And other than that, for Community Services Committee, I would just remind the public, or let the public know perhaps, that PCRC is now actually accepting applications for the Community Route First Time Home Buyers Program. That's an initiative joint with the city and PCRC that PCRC is overseeing. And if you are interested in that particular program, you can contact PCRC directly at the office, and they would be welcome to give you some more information about it. I'm also told that if you have a small person in your home and you're stuck quarantining, PCRC does have quarantine kits available at the office as well. Just something for the small people in your household if they're stuck in the house, something for them to do. But again, just contact PCRC for more information about that as well. And that's all I have for Community Services Committee this evening, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Draycott. Waterworks Committee, Councillor Draycott again.
Thank you, Your Worship. So we do have a couple of reports here under Waterworks Committee this evening. These are all coming back to council as well, I believe. So the first one is the Wastewater Treatment Division 2021 Annual Report. Each year, the reporting detailing the performance, operation, and maintenance of the activities of the Water Pollution Control Facility and the wastewater collection and conveyance system is prepared and submitted. And once accepted by council, the report is filed with Manitoba Conservation and Climate, as well as posted on the city's website for public access. In summary of this report, an average of 9.61 million liters of wastewater was processed each day for a total of 3.5 billion liters. Of this, 48% is attributed to domestic users, and the remaining 52% is from industrial partners. There were 7 exceedants of total suspended solids and 1 failure of biochemical oxygen demand. All other parameters reported under limit and for an overall compliance with the Environmental Act license of 99.4%. The operations and maintenance staff in the wastewater treatment division are a dedicated team and always give full effort to ensure all water received is treated and returned to the river at the highest quality achievable, which is evident throughout this report. So there is an extensive report listed there under our meeting this evening that council can peruse, that we will be looking to accept at next meeting. The second item that I have for Waterworks Committee is the 2021 Land Application of Biosolids report. So just a detailed report summarizing the annual land application of biosolids program is required to be submitted to Manitoba Conservation and Climate as specified by license 1907R. The attached report includes all the relevant information, including soil conditions of the land in which the biosolids were applied, properties of the biosolids material, and both the biosolids storage tanks, as well as the bulk volume fermenter, as well as application rates for nutrients and metals to ensure compliance with the license. The 2021 Land Application of Biosolids program was successful, with 607 dry tons of material injected to farmland on land within the RM of Portage la Prairie. Compliance of all aspects of the license was achieved, and there were no spills or concerns to be addressed. And again, that will come to the next council meeting as well, with the full report attached there. Third item that Waterworks Committee does have this evening is the water treatment plant year-end report for 2021. So this is a fairly extensive report. Again, it is there for council to peruse, but just a little indication of some of the things going on in the water treatment plant. Your total influent volume of water drawn from the Assiniboine River for treatment was approximately 15.6% higher in 2021 than it was in 2020, and 31.7% higher than 2019. 2021 had an influent volume of 9,331,668 meters cubed compared to 8,047,701 meters cubed in 2020. The total volume of treated water pumped to the distribution system from the water treatment plant was approximately 8,519,485 meters cubed in 2021 compared to 7,758,72 meters cubed in 2020. The volume of water used internally at the treatment process in 2021 was 164,105 meters cubed. The water is used in the process production of mixing chemicals, dilution of chemicals for pumping purposes, flushing pipes after sludge removal, and the process systems. The report does go through things such as raw water quality, distribution system water quality monitoring and analysis. And major maintenance in 2021 included complete new ozone generation system, water plant air compressor replacement of McKay Reservoir pressure control valve, various valve and flow meter replacements, 5 turbine meters replaced with new modern units, 2 chlorine analyzers replaced with modern units, blow-down sludge pump repair, new air-cooled water chiller for heat loop, Ongoing water quality studies will result in optimizing the treatment process to treat the raw water to continue to have a safe, reliable product for our consumers. And the plant was kept in operation during maintenance work, and plant shutdowns were done in a manner to keep the consumers supplied with water. Operating staff will continue to abide by all government operational requirements and work with the local drinking water officer to ensure the best quality water for all of the persons in the Portage la Prairie area. There's a number of charts and graphs in this report as well, and a lot of great information there for council to peruse as well. And then we do also have the public water system reports for 2021 that will be coming to the council meeting next time we meet. And that is the Department of Manitoba Conservation and Climate Environmental Stewardship Division requires an annual public water system report to be submitted and posted publicly online. Once accepted by the council, the report would be posted on the city's website, and administration has prepared the 2021 water treatment data report. And that annual public water system annual report is attached as well. And I do believe that's all I have for wastewater this evening, Your Worship. If there are any questions, I can direct you to the right person.
Thank you, Councillor Draycott, for that very comprehensive report. Next up is Transportation Committee. Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Transportation Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. And Councillor Knox, Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Your Worship. Nothing from your Public Safety Committee this evening.
Thank you. So committee is adjourned at 6:47 p.m. Thank you for coming out, everybody.